Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
The film everybody's talking about, Tom.
The film, it's on everyone's lips.
Yeah, we got our fingers on the pulse. Hey, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
And we just watched Hypnotic.
We sure did. Hypnotic.
I watched this twice.
I know you called the tip in on the bank heist. Who the hell are you?
What makes total strangers pull off an elaborate bank heist? Are you familiar with the concept of hypnotics?
Hypnotics.
Hypnotics have the ability to influence the brain, sound, voice,
Need a light?
locking eyes. Hypnotics use them to make you see a version of the world that doesn't exist.
I went above and beyond.
You did. You really stuck it out for me and for all the listeners. Mm-hmm. And we appreciate you.
This is what I would call an us movie. For people who are like, the fuck is Hypnotic? We covered this like once on Hypecast. This movie is fascinating.
This movie vanished like a lonesome ghost. Like,
yeah,
it's, man.
I knew watching it, but if you don't know, first of all, spoilers for Hypnotic. This movie is full of twists. The biggest of all is kind of the reveal that Robert Rodriguez made this. If you didn't know that, I already knew it.
Wrote and directed, right? I know he directed it.
Yeah,
he wrote it as well. Okay,
he wrote it in 2002.
Boy, you can tell.
Little history.
It is a 2002 ass movie.
Yeah, this was written in 2002. Robert Rodriguez apparently really liked the premise, and for whatever reason, it took a while. It got a rewrite right before shooting. I forget by who, and I apologize. And it is his worst performing movie of Robert Rodriguez or Ben Affleck. This is, if you've watched the trailer, it looks like such beautiful schlock that it's hard not to want to cover it.
Listen, it's about Ben Affleck.
Hypnotist.
Yeah, evil hypnotists. An evil hypnotist. Yeah. He's a cop who's tormented by the kidnapping of his daughter, and then he comes to realize that, my daughter is actually the kidnapper was actually being controlled by this evil hypnotist. And things start to unravel as he starts pulling on threads, and it is just a glorious piece of cheese. Like it's
dated in 2002. That's
right.
What's amazing.
It feels
about
a little dated even for then, but like it's so late 90s, early aughts. Like it's such a beautiful window into the past. It's like opening a time capsule.
It really is. And so listen, we're gonna talk about it with a lot of joy. I'm not gonna tell you this is a good movie. I'm gonna tell you that if you like a certain type of schlock, this is it for you.
If you like cheesy 90s, early aughts thrillers, the way that Dave and I do.
We had to cover this. We had to. We had options. But we chose this.
We had options. The options were in the new Insidious, but we figured, we'll just not like that. And
yeah, exactly.
Most likely.
Although
apparently it's getting
good.
decent reviews, so maybe we should have seen it.
I'll still probably watch it. It's directed by Patrick Wilson, and he can do no wrong. So that was kind of why I didn't want to watch it, is because I was like, I don't want to disappoint Patrick.
Yeah, I don't want to come across our podcast and hear it and be like, they didn't like my work. But apparently it's good. It's killing it. So maybe we should have covered Insidious.
Yeah. We must protect Patrick Wilson until something horrible comes out about him. And then we have to dump him like a bad habit. But
so as Jonah Hill texts come out or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, and also I had, like, there's a bunch of, I've only seen the first 2 Insidiouses. So anyway, there was a couple of reasons we didn't decide to see that movie. And we were going to do Asteroid City, but it wasn't anywhere around. So we settled on Hypnotic.
Yeah.
A film Dave had already watched.
Yeah, that's what their poster said. Settle on Hypnotic.
Why not Hypnotic?
I watched it first when I was really sick, and I was like, I'm having a sick day. What do I watch? Well, obviously Hypnotic.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So
and watching it in like...
perfect sick day movie.
It really is. And then watching it again, I made notes. I drifted in and out, but I enjoyed it just as much. This is dated for its time because... The X-Files did this film in 2 episodes I would argue, a better way. It was called Pusher.
Pusher.
Yeah, and the sequel. And those were about a guy who wasn't a hypnotist, which I think is the first thing you should do when you write a script like this. Just give him superpowers. But, I mean, we'll get into why it has to be hypnotism, I guess. And he tells people to do things, and those episodes are really dark and compelling because the people don't want to do the things they're doing and stuff like that. This has like a little bit of that, and I this does have some moments I was like, that's a cool moment. But for the most part, it's one of those movies that from the start, right? It's a twist movie,
right? It's
to the point
it's trying to out Shyamalan itself with each twist, and what a treat!
It's like 4 twists.
Yeah.
And you can feel the twist at the beginning. Something I think that this movie, I can't tell if this movie did on purpose, Tom, and maybe you can help me with this.
I'll try.
So I think this movie we knew it was a twist film, right? So it knows that we're judging it from the first scene. We're judging it right away. Question.
Go ahead. Finish your question.
My question is, so spoilers, a lot of this movie is quote unquote all a dream, right?
Right.
Does the film?
Yeah.
Yeah. We should go through the plot because people probably
ask your question.
Haven't watched this. Does the film know? I guess what it is that this movie, the first half, is filled with some of the most cliche, dumb premises and writing.
It's very funny.
Yeah. The reveal is that a lot of this was a dream. So, are they using the tropes of a bad movie against us? Do they want us to wonder, is this a dream or am I just watching a bad movie? Because that's what I kept asking. Because the moment it starts, it starts with him opening his eye, close up of the eye, which I don't know if you know movie tropes, but Vanilla Sky, etc., where you're like, okay, so it's all a dream. The first shot, I was like, it's all a dream? So it's all a dream. Yeah, because it starts with that eye opening, and it's just are you there? Kind of moment.
My response is yes. I think the movie knows that we know it's a twist movie, and it's planting that seed right away with that opening shot where it's Ben Affleck's eye opening, and it's the rhythmic tapping of the person's pen, the therapist's pen on the pad, as the title Hypnotic has just come off screen. So it's kind of priming. You're like, oh, this seems like he's being hypnotized or just waking up from being hypnotized, so something's off here. But as for the rest of the stuff, no, I don't think that's intentional in that way. I think it's just bad.
Right. So that's what I was getting at, is I think it would be hard to walk that line, because if you had a scene where Ben Affleck was like, yeah, actually, in retrospect, that was all very stupid. You're accidentally insulting any audience members who might not have picked up on how dumb it is. Mm-hmm. So it's a hard, because I think that's a fun premise, right? Is a movie that you're watching and you're like, this is schlocky and bad, and then the reveal is yeah, why do you think it was so schlocky and bad? It was fake. That would be fun, right? But
that would be hard to pull off. It'd be
hard to pull off.
You'd have to sort of already have a sense that the movie was about a dream world or something operating in dream logic, because the audience, after you can only do the thing, the bad thing. You can only be bad on purpose for so long, And
it's hard to be bad on purpose without it seeming on purpose.
Right.
So speaking of being bad. So Ben Affleck is at the Division of Occupational Therapy. I flagged that. I Googled it. That's not a thing.
No, why would it be?
There are departments of occupational therapy. There are departments. Yeah, there are divisions of occupational science. There's no like division of occupational therapy. I don't know what that is. He walks out of the building, gets immediately in a car with his partner, and his partner's like, "We're going to a bank robbery." And my first thought was like, I don't think that's how that works.
Right.
Like,
And plays him a recording of a 911 call. It's so weird. And he steps on a cockroach before he gets in the car, and they have this weird exchange. I think maybe stuff like that is intentional, but like the stuff,
right?
Because that's all. The first couple of interactions are weird and immediate. It's like he's coming right out of. The implication is he is receiving mandated therapy as part of this disaster that happened while he was on the job. His daughter got kidnapped.
Yeah.
So he's coming right out of his therapy straight into a car with his partner and being driven to a bank robbery, which seems weird, seems a little fast. And then he plays him a recording of the 911 call. I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah. Normally, when you go to work on a bank robbery, I imagine, I've never been a cop, that there is some sort of briefing. Perhaps they put armor on you. You talk to the other cops who are there. You don't just get a ride with your partner who fills you in. I just don't think that's how that works.
Right. So
and he's also at first day back on the job. Literally, he says to the therapist is like, "Is that work?" And he's like, "I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah.
Can I come back?" So like, this is just not how this works immediately.
So I think this is intentional. Because like coming out that weird moment with he steps on a roach and they have this weird exchange. It almost sounds like code spy speak because it's an unnatural interaction that they have with each other. So I think that stuff is intentional. But the stuff where like Denise, the Denise, that was her name, right?
I don't know.
I think so. Anyway, the main the psychic lady. The female lead. She said like the scenes where she's doing like the exposition dumps about the division, which is like this secret government army of hypnotists.
Yeah, that's
not intentional.
No, because that apparently is real, even without the hypnotism. We'll get into that. So being a hypnotist apparently is just a thing that a lot of people are in this world.
You can be a hypnotic. It's like being a telepath.
And they have to do it. It really reminds me of like it's like Wanted or any movie where
it was duets. It felt very Wanted.
Duets. Yeah. Duets. For people who don't know, Duets is a world that acts like there are karaoke hustlers and doesn't feel the need to like introduce us to that world or like ease us in. They're just like, you know how people are karaoke hustlers. Let's get into the movie. And it's like, I'm sorry, I don't think that exists. This movie is like, you know how there's like everybody here, they're hypnotists. And it's like, that's a world of hypnotists. All right, moving on. Also, hypnotism is like magic. Yeah. That's the other part of it. It's two levels where it's not just like hypnotism, like They have to explain that hypnotism really works, and then they have to explain that there are a lot of them. And those are two fucking things.
It's not really hypnotism. It's just mind control.
Right. And like, yeah, it is just mind control. And you could argue like, oh, well, why would they think a premise like this works? I mean, Now You See Me made a lot of money. So like, I can see them looking at other movies and going like, stupider things have happened on film. We can push this idea. So, God damn it. But yeah, like I couldn't tell if it was dreamlike, and it's like you're leaving your therapist and then you go to a bank robbery and it's like he's not questioning it. So it feels like it's trying to be a little dreamlike because he just sort of like goes with the flow a lot.
I think some of it definitely is. Like like at one point I was like, well, this is all very convenient. And then of course you realize that it's all a program. They're all running a hypnotist game on Ben Affleck. They've done it 12 times in a row, we find out, and they're about to do number 13 to try to get him to give up the location of his daughter, which it turns out he is actually the one that kidnapped her, and he erased his own memory to keep them from finding her. But wait, the other twist is that the psychic lady is actually his wife, who's also part of the division, and you think she's a bad guy, but actually no, they both erase their memories.
Double hypnotism.
It's a double hypnotism, yeah. It gets really wild, but like I do think some of it's intentional. Like the convenience of it, the fact that like Denise and like his partner and like other people would just show up immediately right there when they needed them. And it was a sense of like they were just kind of, it did seem a little badly written or badly paced. And then of course when the reveal comes around, you're like, oh, okay, like that's probably intentional.
Yeah, but there are little things where I can't tell. Like they go to the bank robbery and Ben Affleck just walks in like an asshole and they're like, hey, could you not do that? You're a cop. And then he goes, I'd like to open a safety deposit box. They do not like check his ID. They do not have him fill out a form. The guy brings a form, the guard, into the safety deposit room and then goes, I forgot my keys.
And leaves him in there by himself.
And leaves him in there, yeah. And then we learn that Ben Affleck steals his keys and then can just open the safety deposit box. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure the thing we all know about safety deposit boxes is that like you have the key, like the person, the customer, right? Like that's the whole point. The guard can't get into the safety deposit box on their own. They always show like 2 keys sometimes.
I think I've never had one. I think that's how it works.
That's how movies at least have portrayed it. So like those are one of those moments where I'm just like, okay, is that because it's a dream or is it because they just needed to yada yada it? And then he finds a photograph of his daughter in there, which we later learn are a series of psychic triggers that fucking what's his name, William Fichtner has left for himself. Which I was thinking, like, why wouldn't you put all the triggers in one place so you can unlock your powers? But again, it's a psychic dream. The whole thing is a fucking hypnotic play they're putting on. So these are the things where I'm like, do they know this is dumb or did they think this wasn't dumb? I can't tell because it's all being made up by the division is what the hypnotists are called.
It all turns out to be a big old play, a big class play. So I think some of it definitely is, but I can't just like because the rest of the movie is like so corny and like the exposition dumps are really just like this is very silly. I do have to believe that at least some of it is just not intentional and is just kind of like, you know, yada yadaing, or we just need to get things moving.
I feel like they could have had it both ways. They could have had a moment where someone said like, didn't you think everything was a little too convenient? And they like cut to the guard with the keys. And like there was moments where the audience would go like, oh yeah, I did think that was a little too convenient. And no one would feel stupid, you know, like I feel like they could do that, but I don't know. Maybe they didn't fucking know. Yeah. William Fichtner calls the kidnapper the pawn that took your queen. I was just like, yeah. We got a real stupid film now.
Hell yeah.
He orders 2 guards to cops to shoot themselves in the chest. Did you laugh out loud when that happened?
I did, because they shoot each other many times.
Yep, and they're still standing, and then they like topple over. They
continue to shoot each other as they fall. Like, yeah.
It's very funny.
It's very Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah. It is one of the funnier parts. They're on the roof. William Fichtner jumps off the roof.
He kind of rolls off the roof.
He does.
And then Ben Affleck, a dramatic roll.
It's really funny because after that, Ben Affleck still has to like. At first, they're like he doesn't put it together immediately that he's been hypnotized, I guess. Well, it takes him. They have to convince him of it, I guess. Right? Like what happens next? Like when William Fichtner jumps off the roof, Ben Affleck's just like, that's weird. And then later he's sort of like, this is all bullshit. And it's like, I don't know. Doesn't it seem evident that you've been hypnotized a few times at this point? He goes to this, how does he
doesn't
go
resist
to the other hypnotist?
He doesn't resist it that much.
Not that much.
His partner is like, hey, we traced the anonymous tip we got about the bank to this woman's phone. She's a psychic. And he goes, and it's the woman who turns out to actually be his wife. Except they've both hypnotized themselves to not remember. And she takes him on this journey where she tells him all the stuff about the division and how William Fichtner's this bad guy who won't stop. He believes hypnotists should run the world.
Yeah, he sure does.
And he's chasing them. They go to Mexico. She meets up with her friend River, who is like going to help them hack. And he was also part of the division.
The hacking.
Yeah. They meet Jackie Earle Haley at one point, I think.
Yeah. There's hacking in this movie.
There is some hacking in this movie.
Yeah, the hypnotism part where they go into the jail cell because they're just holding her there for her protection after a guy rode his motorcycle in the window. Which
sure did.
What we later learn is that this is all being acted out in a parking lot.
Yeah.
So do you think that guy just rode like a bike?
He could have been on a shopping cart. Like, he could have been on anything.
Yeah, they what they reveal later is this is all playing out in a parking lot.
It's basically like a back lot. Like, they're just doing this all on a back lot and hypnotizing Ben Affleck so he sees all of this incredible adventure around himself.
Right. One of the things he says during this jail cell scene, she's like, "Why do you think like the people at the bank did what he said?" And he's like, "Because they're all in on it." And he's right. He's actually right there.
He is.
Yeah. Everybody is in on it. He's being the gamed. And honestly,
is being the gamed. Yeah, that's very true.
I wish... So one of the twists would have been more neat to me, because what happens is she proves hypnotism is real by hypnotizing his partner. Mm-hmm. And again, what we learn is they're all in on it. So I think it would have been real neat if, like, the reveal is actually that hypnotism isn't a thing. And they are, in fact, all in on it, because that's what they are for most of this. Like, most of the hypnotism we see in this movie is all just one person being hypnotized, right?
That would have been the funniest ending.
Yeah.
So they get to the ending and they're like, you fucking thought like a secret army of hypnotists was real, you dick?
I wanted it to be like the game where it wasn't, like, he wasn't even hypnotized at all. It was all just being acted out.
Yeah.
But it's sort of that, but there's still hypnotism.
There is so much hypnotism, Dave.
There really is. So again, it's like, it's everything we see, all the hypnotism from here until near the end. It's all double agent hypnotism, right? No one's actually being hypnotized except for Ben Affleck. Is that what I'm to understand?
I mean, no, because like... Well, no, wait, yeah, because she has her memory erased. She's not being hypnotized. So, yeah, I think that's true. It's just Ben Affleck being hypnotized for most of the movie until the end.
I put that up because I don't actually know what the hypnotist can do in this film, because what we see them do is almost entirely fake. So she like hypnotizes his partner to think he's in jail. Later, he gets hypnotized. In one of the very good scenes that remind me of the X-Files, he tries to kill her, and she handcuffs him, or Ben Affleck does, and he goes to tear his own arm off.
Yeah, he breaks it, and he's ripping his hand off, literally.
Yeah, it's a really fucking cool,
pretty sweet scene. Yeah, it's wild.
But again, didn't actually happen.
No, but that's fine, I guess. Whatever.
No, it's all fine.
I don't care. Like,
it's all fine, I guess. It's just very funny that it's just like, in the end, I'm like, oh, right. So I guess like none of the hypnotism scenes were really hypnotism scenes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like all the cool things were being shown that hypnotists can supposedly do. It was all bullshit.
It was all bullshit. So that's why I was like, I wish they leaned into that more and was like, no, none of this is anything. There isn't hypnotism at all. It's just like, we're just putting on a show for you. Like, I know that might have pissed off audiences a bit, but I think that's a cooler idea for a twist. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that would have been... I would have laughed so hard if that was the ending, where they're just like, you stupid dick.
Yeah, why I can't... It was so easy.
Aren't real, you jerk. Yeah.
We thought we'd have to convince you for a while.
We thought we were screwed when you said they're in on it.
Yeah. And then you just bought it, man. What are you, an idiot?
Things were real tense in that surveillance van until you ran out and started screaming about an army of hypnotists.
Yeah. Yeah, you gave us that one. Jeez. William Fichtner inceptions Ben Affleck, and what I mean by that is they do a scene where the sky wraps up around him. Mm-hmm. And again, it was one of those things, I feel like that's the single reason Robert Rodriguez pushed this through, because he wrote it in 2002. Inception came out in 2010?
Right.
And Rodriguez must have been like, motherfucker. And it was just like, I don't care. I'm making my movie.
I'm doing it. I'm still doing it.
Yeah, because, he thought of it first, but He didn't execute it first. They do a whole scene at the trains, which is, again, not badly shot.
No, it's
but
cool.
Like the idea is he's being hypnotized, so everything's all fucked up around him.
Yeah.
It is very Nolan. It's very Inception. Like buildings are crumbling and shit.
Yeah, and like dropping into place in front of him. And the trains are sliding. It gets a little Doctor Strange in the train yard.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but it is just, I don't know. It's perfectly fine, but it's just like
it's too late. It's all too late.
Too late. Yeah.
This movie is like, what if our memories weren't our own? And I'm like, yeah, we've seen that a few times. Total Recall. Remember Total Recall?
Yeah.
That was made before this movie.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Again, it's dated for its time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. The offer, the sci-fi offer it's making is so quaint. And treated with such like weight, and it's like, come on, we're in the multiverse now.
Yeah,
like
there's no fucking rules anymore. Like,
yeah, this is a delight. Don't get me wrong, but my goodness, I can't believe it was made this year. It's incredible.
Yeah, it really is. It's like I said, it's like finding a time capsule. It's like finding $20 in your jeans that you haven't worn in a while.
Like an old $20. Yeah,
old $20.
Yeah. Then there's the hacking scene, which again, that scene alone is like, come on, guys. It's not 2004. It's like such again, it's all, I guess, a fantasy. I don't know if they know that it's stupid or not, but it's like this guy like hacking the Division. Mm-hmm. I love that they also called it the Division. I'm like, so we're not Tom Clancy fans here. All right, that's fair.
Listen, man. It's another moment of Rodriguez being like, I'm doing it anyway. It's staying in.
Yeah, it really feels like he wrote in 2002, a bunch of things happened, and he was like, I'm not changing. I'm not changing for them. Like, and so there's just so much in this movie we've seen.
Yeah, we've seen all of it before.
It's delightful. We've seen all of it.
We've literally seen all of it before, yeah.
The hacking scene. So extremely funny sequence that I flagged before, what I thought was a really cool sequence. William Fichtner calls Ben Affleck when they're staying at the Hackers.
Oh, yeah.
And he says to him, you're never going to find his daughter. To which Ben Affleck replies, how about I kill you?
Which made me laugh so hard.
Yeah. I have a theory, Tom. Do you think maybe the line that William Fichtner said was originally something else? And they didn't like film Ben Affleck, because that's the kind of line where someone says like, how about blank blank blank, and then you say, how about I kill you, right? That's what it's like he's having a different exchange.
I hope that is exactly how it was written.
Yeah.
You're never going to find your daughter. How about I kill you?
How about I kill you? That's the funniest fucking exchange I've seen in a long time.
Man, I love this movie.
I wish he said, how about I kill you? And there was a silence, and Fichtner went, I'm sorry, what? And then Ben Affleck's like, wait, sorry, I thought you said something different. I'm sorry, the phone broke.
Right, like he blanked out in that moment.
Yeah.
Like he was spacing. Oh, man.
But it's so funny. That
was a big moment in the film.
It really was.
How about I kill you? Holy shit.
Why would he say that?
I don't care. It was perfect.
He should have, after saying that, just like cringed and been like, damn, I always say the wrong thing.
Right.
It's so
like, it's not even like a cool quip. It just sounds like a maniac.
It's not. It's like such a, oh man, you did not have the upper hand in this conversation.
No, you didn't. You overplayed your hand immediately.
He really does. Oh my god.
Yeah, I laughed pretty hard at that. Yeah, it was good.
So he hypnotizes Ben Affleck to try to kill what's her name? The hypnotist lady.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was Denise. I'm just gonna look it up while you're talking.
I think it's Diana.
Diana
Cruz.
Oh, there it is. Okay. It was a D name. I was close.
It was a D. And I thought that was a cool sequence. They do this thing, which, again, there's two sequences in this movie. The guy ripping off his hand, and this, which I thought, like, they should have done a pusher. They really just should have stole the X-File pusher idea. Had it one person on a rampage, like a serial killer. I know that's pusher, I really know it's Pusher. But like, I can't get enough Pusher. You know what? Just make an X-Files movie and bring Pusher back. I know he died. I don't care.
It's fine. He can come back.
Or bring back a new Pusher. That Coogler X-Files, do a Pusher, for love of Christ. Anyway, because it's such a good idea.
Yeah, it's a great episode.
It's so creepy to not be in control of your mind, but be aware of it. So they have this sequence where he's like kill Diana, and he's like, I'm not going to do that. Hangs up, and then she's like getting out of the shower, and he looks over to where like this thing with scissors in it to notice the scissors are gone, and then looks down to realize they're in his hands, and it keeps happening. So he like stabs the scissors on the wall to be like, okay, I'm not doing that. And then she walks in, he's talking to her, and then he looks on the wall and the scissors are gone and realizes they're still in his hands.
Well, he keeps checking the wall is the cool thing. Like he keeps looking at it and it's there, and then one time he looks at it and it's gone, and he looks at it and it's in his hand, and he's raising them up. It's a cool
really
game
cool
that they
idea.
play. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the idea he can't get the scissors out of his hand. He keeps thinking he is, but he can't. I really liked that premise.
Me too. Yeah, it's a good sequence.
It is. Because it's a good director.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Robert Rodriguez is a good director. I don't know why he made this. I think it's just for fun. He
just makes weird shit. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's having fun. He's out of the Hollywood system. He's doing what he wants. It's just such a weird movie for him. I feel like it was him like, I've been holding on to this script. I just got to get it out there. I just got to get it off of my fucking plate. And that's what he did. But I mean, it feels like he was like, I'm going to make this for Tom and Dave. Tom and Dave are out there and they need to watch this movie.
They need this film.
Yeah. And he wasn't wrong. So at some point he figures out, because of the hacking, right? He goes on the computer and hacks himself and realizes that his wife is actually Cruz, who is a division agent. And at that point, he wakes up in this large room filled with agents who are like, well done. Clap, clap, clap. You saw through our ruse. And that's when it's all revealed that it's basically like a studio. It's a parking lot and like a warehouse. And all the division agents in there, like you said, in their red coats, looking, I don't know why they're wearing red coats. They're like that Simpsons realtor episode.
Oh, yeah. With Lionel Hutz's real estate agency.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's easier to hypnotize people if everybody's wearing the same clothes. I don't know.
Let's say yes.
Sure.
And everything you watched was all fake, to the point that there wasn't even, like, there were just these big sets that say, like, bank outside of it. Which, by the way, I laughed when he walked into the bank that just said bank over it.
Yeah.
Because that was also where I was like, I can't tell if this is dumb or not. And it turns out it wasn't. It turns out that was on purpose.
On purpose, yeah. That one definitely was.
Yeah, but you flag it earlier, like, well, that's
a little strange, yeah.
And you can't tell. Again, you can't tell if the set designer was just like, good enough.
Yeah.
But
or if you maybe just didn't see the full sign,
Yeah. But yeah, so they've been doing this 12 times it turns out that Cruz and Ben Affleck, they made it.
Yeah, their child is super soldier. Like she can crush everything with her hypnotic powers.
It turns out that when a hypnotic has sex with another hypnotic, they create a super hypnotic.
Yeah.
That they were like, we're going to rule the world with this super hypnotic. I have a question.
Yeah.
Why don't other hypnotics do this?
It's a good question.
Yeah, why are they so... Because what happens is Ben Affleck, kidnaps his own daughter, like you said, hides her.
It's basically kind of Firestarter in reverse, because that's what happens at the beginning of Firestarter.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But like they're like, okay, we have to do everything, pull together all the hypnotics, and fucking like try to fucking get this daughter back. All I could think is, again, like, just make another baby, right? Surely, like... There are other hypnotics. There's a bunch, right? That's the whole point.
Yeah, this whole team.
Can't you just say, we're going to need you two to have sex with each other and make a baby? Or you don't even have to have sex. I'm just going to need to see them eggies and sperms.
Yeah.
I don't know why they spend so much time and resources on this one daughter.
Give us some Sp's and E's.
Yeah, exactly. Spees and E's.
I don't know.
God,
I guess maybe it wasn't supposed to happen. Like maybe it was like a 1 in a million chance. I don't know. The movie doesn't say that.
They should have said it then. Yeah, exactly. Spees and E's. Sorry, that I want to make a breakfast restaurant called
Spees and E's.
Yeah,
well,
and it'll sound like cutesy. No one would ever know. Yeah,
except you all.
Yeah, exactly.
I love how ruthlessly their child murders everyone at the end.
She sure does.
Which was another thing that I was like kind of flagging as like, oh, this is a little weird. But then they reveal in another flashback that they've already, like, the division had already been training her. Like she had already been trained to kill people.
Yeah, she's cool with it, folks.
Yeah, she's already cool with it. They've already broken that dam.
Yeah. So Ben Affleck, they run the sequence again. But this time, Ben Affleck is wise to it and breaks out of the hypnotism sequence. They start the movie over. And I, for one, I know it's only a 90-minute movie, but I think they spend a little too much time starting the movie over. They get to like the bank robbery sequence, and I was like, yeah, we know. Guys, we know. Before he finally gets out of it.
A little. I would maybe have cut a little bit off of it because there is
a minute.
Right, yeah, that's what I was thinking because there is one stretch where I do remember flagging. It's like this is taking a little too long, but it was cool. And it's like it was cool to go through those scenes again and see what was actually happening.
That's why they were doing it.
Right.
But yeah, there definitely got to be a part a couple minutes before he escapes where I'm like, okay, I got it, guys. We can continue with the movie. We know this is like, Lord knows you're not going to loop the entire movie again. So let's just keep moving with it.
Keep it moving.
Yeah. I just looked at the budget, Tom.
65 million.
65 million. No. Jurassic Park money. It made $6 million in the box office.
That's a shame. That's too bad. Hypnotic deserved better.
Hypnotic deserved better.
Jeff Fahey coming in at the end, just as Ben Affleck's secret murder dad.
Wait, what? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, his foster father was Jeff Fahey.
Yeah, I was going to get into that. They, at the last minute, go, and here's 2 new characters you're supposed to like. Yeah. And I'm like, guys, we got like 15 minutes of movie left.
Well, he did a smart thing because, as you noted, Robert Rodriguez made this film specifically for you and I. So how does he introduce 2 new characters at the very end of the movie and have you and I care? He makes one of them Jeff Fahey.
That's true.
Because when Ben Affleck gets to the secret gate where we learn he's been hiding his daughter for the past 4 years, and it slides open and it's fucking Jeff Fahey with a shotgun, I was like, oh, we got a movie now.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I'll go for another 90 minutes now.
Sure, let's do it. You've made me a compelling offer.
I got a second wind.
The Lawnmower Man? Okay.
Fuck yeah. Is that stunt casting?
I mean, I don't know. He's been in, it could be. I know he's been in a couple of Rodriguez films, so I think maybe they're just friends. But yeah, it is kind of technically stunt casting.
Yeah, it would have been amazing if this turned out to all be VR.
Because
I would have loved that. If it was like 90s VR.
Funny. Yeah.
And then they do the thing to explain wormholes where they put a piece of paper and fold it in half.
And
then they tell us that we only use 10% of our brains. That's what I wanted from this movie.
Yeah.
More
dumb hypnosis bullshit, please.
I would have been surprised if they did the 10% to explain hypnotism.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, they go to the fucking house, and that's another. So and then they chase Ben Affleck there, and then it turns out they walked into his trap, and he hypnotized them all to think the house was a slightly different house, which I thought was very funny.
No, the girl did.
Like, the girl did. But it was very funny where it was like, why would you even... All right. Like, I get why they do it to visually show that they're being hypnotized, that they're not even in... They're in, like, a quarry. But they think they're in, like, this nice house. They should question, like, why... why would he lead them right there? And William Fichtner is like, we've been hypnotized. And then they all start getting shot because
he's like, no, this is real.
Yeah, they think they killed Jeff Fahey and his wife, and they think they've got it all. But it turns out Jeff Fahey and his wife were hypnotized death, and so they're running around. The soldiers just shotgunning them point blank because no one can see them.
Yeah,
which is amazing.
It's
they just
incredible.
They have cheat codes on, basically.
She also makes some of them shoot themselves.
Yes. And the little girl who's been spending all her days making a domino thing. And the symbolism, Tom. Ben Affleck first walks into the house and he knocks down the dominoes because all the dominoes are falling. They're all in place.
Yeah.
And that's when we find out at the end he's like, his daughter reverse hypnotizes Cruz because the reveal is that they both wiped their memory and Cruz basically...
They hatched this plan together.
Yeah.
And they knew the only way it would work is if they had one of them still with the division.
Right. They had to wait until she was old enough to kill the division. Is that what it is?
Yes, they had to wait till her power was cultivated enough that she could murder 12 people.
So they could free her from being a child soldier. She had to kill 12 people.
Yes.
Only 12?
There was maybe 20. At the end there.
Yeah. I want to start not start. We've been in this for 40 minutes. I want to ask a few questions.
Yeah.
Was all of this necessary?
What do you mean?
Like I was all right. So to unlock Ben Affleck's brain, first of all, they created this fake world where Ben Affleck still knows about hypnotisms. And has to find his daughter as a fake detective. Was there no other way to unlock the information? It feels like a weird tactic from the start. Right?
Yeah.
Why don't they just torture him? I don't know, or do mind control like put him in this hellscape where they're tell us where your daughter is or so I don't know. It just feels like maybe this was all unnecessary.
It does seem like a lot of trouble to go through.
Yeah, and then
I remember
plan.
thinking that to myself when it showed us what their little backlot looked like for the first time, and it's this huge production with all of these people. I'm like, this feels like a lot of trouble to trick one guy.
Yeah, especially when you're a hypnotist. Do you really need everybody acting it out? You know what? It's got the Shutter Island vibes, where at the end you're like, I think you might just like theater. I think you might want to be an actor.
Yeah.
That's the vibes I get here, which is I don't think this is a good idea. And then, if the division is indeed only 12 people, it feels like Ben Affleck also not necessary, his plan. It all feels unnecessary. It feels like, I don't know, they're hypnotists, so I get you can't just go to the cops, but you could probably go to another country. You could probably, I don't know, just go in and it just feels like a lot. That's all.
I don't know. I mean,
we wouldn't have the movie otherwise.
Then we wouldn't have the movie. So what do you want?
I want the movie. Mm-hmm. I definitely want the movie. It's just, and then hypnotizing the wife to be in the division. Why did he do that?
I don't know. It was part of their plan. They just told us, well, it would only work if one of us is still on the inside. Yeah,
and they don't explain why. And because it doesn't seem to matter that she's on the inside, it really doesn't.
I think it could have been either of them. But you're right. It doesn't really seem to matter that much that she's still on the inside.
Yeah. And then again, why don't they just find another kid? I'm not here to poke holes in this movie because this movie is fucking Swiss cheese.
It's incredibly sound. This movie is airtight.
Airtight. And we haven't gotten to the best part of the movie, which is that there's a post-credit sequence where we learn that William Fichtner is alive.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah. So they do the title sequences and they cut to someone getting up and walking and getting it's the father, I think. It's Jeff Fahey getting on a helicopter, and it's revealed that he is William Fichtner. So this movie wants us to believe there's a sequel coming.
Oh, man.
I don't think there's going to be a sequel. I think the $65 million movie that made $6 million.
Biggest bomb of the director and star's career. Probably not. They probably won't make Hypnotic 2.
I want it.
Hyptunic?
Hyptunic. Yeah, no. Sure. Mm-mm. I want a sequel so bad.
Yeah,
but
I want 9
the funniest thing the funniest thing this movie does is like it takes a bow. It does a fucking sequel tease, and
right.
it's like,
it's a real like Skeletor coming back at the end.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's like, I'll be back. You sure won't.
Yeah. Yeah, you absolutely won't. I guarantee.
You shall not.
I don't need to be a fucking hypnotist to tell you that this movie's not going to have a sequel. Again, don't get me wrong. I would love a sequel.
Yeah,
if I could,
I'd love to watch 11 of these, 19 of these.
If I was a billionaire, I would immediately call Robert Rodriguez today and go, "How much do you need for Hypnotic 2?" Because I'll just give it to you. I'll give it to you today.
I will give it to you, no questions asked. I just want the movie to exist.
Yeah. I don't even need a wide release. It just needs to be for me.
It can be widely released in my living room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Make it. I'm going to need it in 24 hours. Get it done.
I've written a script, and you hand him like a bunch of stapled loose leaf paper.
Holy shit. What a terrific movie.
What a treat. What a discovery. Like this was a real delight to stumble upon.
You see now why I want to have a movie night where we put this against Paycheck with Ben Affleck, because they're both essentially early 2000 movies about Ben Affleck's memories.
Yeah, about fucking with Ben Affleck's mind.
Yeah. And they both feel like they were made in the wrong. I mean, Paycheck has a little more, it's a little more 2000s, but even that movie felt like kind of 90s. And they're both made by like action directors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hypnotic. On your TV today.
Yeah.
Very rentable.
Yeah, it's extremely rentable. It could be it could be streaming on your home theater within minutes.
Did this go in theaters? Because I literally can't picture this movie playing in a theater. This is meant to be rented. Like it was born to be rented.
Rental, yeah.
Yes.
No, it came out. It was out for like a week.
Yeah. Let's see. It was distributed by Ketchup Entertainment. What is that? Is that a front?
That sounds like money laundering, right?
Yeah. It does. It really does. It was screened at South by Southwest.
No two ways around that.
Yeah, it came out in May. And so, yeah. May 12th. Lord knows how long it stayed. Let's see. I can't find that. It finished in 6th.
It's fine, Dave.
Did not get good reviews, it seems. That's surprising. Yeah.
Well, they're just not as worldly as us, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I can't think of any. I want to talk about this movie for another hour. I don't have much else to say except for like repeating. Oh, we should repeat the beginning like it's Hypnotic and just like repeat everything we said. Mm-hmm. Hi, everybody.
And then add voices of different people pretending to be you and me.
Oh my God.
Like
it's hard because I don't want anybody to feel bad for making this movie.
No,
because I'm so delighted by this movie. Yeah. But I also can't tell people like, go see this movie. It's great.
Yeah.
Like if you like silly movies, then go see this movie, you know?
If you don't, you will not have fun.
Yeah. Goddamn. The villain's name is, remember the villain's name is Lev Del Rey?
Lev Del Rey, yeah.
Fine, Lev Del Rey. It turns out to be a fucking
it's an anagram, which of course it is. Like that's another one that you kind of peg right away. It's like, well, that's clearly going to be an anagram.
Yeah, for Deer Valley Lane.
Sure was. The secret map to Jeff Fahey's house.
Yep. It's really funny that I like the version where he figures out it's an anagram, but he doesn't know where the fuck Deer Valley Lane is.
Right, yeah, you can't remember that bit of it.
City? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's this fucking street. You Google map it, and it's like, there's like fucking, 12 Deer Valley Road. Yeah, what the fuck?
One of them's in Arizona.
Yeah.
Did I put her in Arizona?
Yeah.
Listen, Dave, I think this is all done. We've said it. We've said, I think, all the words that we have.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry for spoiling it. When I snap my fingers, you'll forget the movie. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's going to happen either way. to be honest. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We have exclusive podcasts on there like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, Spiel Boys. Those are all for $5 a month. It's cheap. It's good. You love it. We also watch movies with our patrons every Friday night. We will 100% be watching Hypnotic.
Yeah, that is absolutely going to happen at some point.
Yeah, I don't. Whether or not you like it, it's happening to you. So
yeah, you may see it anyway.
Yeah, make peace. Make peace with the fact that if you join us on Friday nights, you will see Hypnotic by Robert Rodriguez. And we also do the Discord. We have custom We Just Watch episodes, all sorts of stuff. Check that out, please.
Yeah, please do. And also, check out our store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store, where we have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs you can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all sorts of things. So slap your Hypnotic peepers onto that.
Yeah, not once does anybody's eyes go into a spiral. That should have happened, right?
None of that.
What if they all looked like magicians? What if they all had like big twirly mustaches and top hats?
I really want that movie.
Yeah, that would have been brave.
Yeah, that would have been a really bold piece of art.
Yeah, do that again. Robert Rodriguez, when I become a millionaire or billionaire, that's what we're getting for the sequel.
Yeah, that's going to be Hypnotic too. It's just going to be full-blown magicians.
Full blown, just the worst.
That's actually the subtitle. It's Hypnotic 2, Full-Blown Magicians.
Oh yes, we have a movie.
Yeah, we got a film now, people.